Good morning, everyone. And my name is Aparna Roy. And as I said, I'm stoked to be here. About me, this is my life in a frame. I'm a technologist and I love solving complex problems by leveraging technology. I started my career as a developer, then slowly transitioned to leadership roles. And I got opportunities to manage multiple portfolios at big startups, big techs and small startups in fintech and retail domains. And currently, I work as a senior engineering manager at a firm. I have always loved dancing, and I am currently learning Kathak. I love to run, and I have done a few half marathons. But most importantly, I'm a mom of two, and they keep me busy and on my toes all the time. The picture on the left is a family picture from my childhood. The topic that I'm going to discuss is how to persevere in challenging situations. Perseverance is something that has been ingrained within me from my childhood through my parents. And I'm going to share my childhood journey before I jump into the strategies to remain persistent. I'm the third daughter, fourth, and thankfully the last child in the family. In India, if you have a daughter, she's considered a goddess of wealth or Lakshmi, but they don't call you the same if you are the second or the third daughter. Um, my dad belonged to a remote village in the eastern part of India where having a son meant strengthening your social and economic status. Um, my parents were always taunted for having three daughters and just one son. And I have memories of my summer breaks when we used to visit my grandmom. There were older women who will just round off my mom or my grandmom or else and start sobbing, talking about our future and questioning, how will your dad marry you three? If you had one more son, he would have more support. And I barely understood the logic. I, in general, was very annoyed by listening to this. I only knew that I was getting all the attention as the youngest child in the family, and that was enough for me. On the flip side, my parents had a had a very different view. And I'm very fortunate to have the parents who have always been a strong proponent of providing equal opportunities for my brother, for me, and my sisters. And their unwavering commitment, their strong belief in girls' education played a big role in my personal and professional journey. They persevered through the setbacks, their financial constraints, their family pressure and circumstances, but they never prioritized their daughters' marriages over their education. And in fact, education was the most important thing that was instilled in us while growing up, something they would never compromise. My mother was always a homemaker. She never went to college herself, but she's the one who inculcated in us the power of purse, the power of being independent. She believed in making her daughters capable so that they could take care of themselves. My dad worked for Indian Air Force, and we were moving every 2, 3 years. Sometimes didn't have the power in the campus when there were flying drills. And like all military kids, there was a lot of discipline in the house. We sometimes used to study for hours, even in the candlelight. There was no escape, even if the power was out. And my parents always saved for our education. I don't even remember if my dad ever bought anything expensive for himself or for my mom. But when it was time to pay for any of our tuition fee or hostel fee or during engineering our fee, they never hesitated. We were all academically sound, and today I'm proud to say we are all working and we are all independent. So for me, my parents are my biggest role models. They were visionary. My dad always said that people who taunted them were unaware of the importance of education. He always told us, if you become something someday, you will set an example for them. And I see that it is true. I always carried that within me. We now have several girls in the community back in India who are now going out doing engineering and medicine, which is like a big change in terms of how this community has evolved. I've learned from my parents that if you have a clear purpose, capability, and commitment to your vision, you can persevere and persist in even the most challenging situations. And I've learned to be a fighter, and being a very proud military kid, I can easily adapt to a situation. And thanks to my parents for instilling that. I will now share some of the strategies that have worked for me to persevere through some of the challenges. Most of them are very consistent with what the others have shared in the past. Let me go to the next slide. So this is, as I said, most of the women who have presented this is very consistent with all the themes. Develop a growth mindset, seek mentorship, build support network, practice compassion, stay committed to your goal, execute, learn, and repeat. So I'll just go and deep dive into these with some of my own stories. So, growth mindset. I'll just relate it to my story. So back in 2011, I was in Michigan working for an automotive company, and Walmart Labs happened organically for me. Back then, I had also applied for a few schools for my master's. The challenge I was facing back then was I didn't have enough savings to support my master's. And I got to know much later that students also do an on-campus job. Had I asked for help, my family would have wholeheartedly supported me, but I didn't want to do that. So I decided to pursue both my master's and go for a full-time job. Little did I know what I was getting into. Believe me, every single day of the first month of the fall semester, I went through an internal war within myself. Should I quit my job or should I just drop off the college? I had to work long hours as I was getting settled in the new job, and at the same time, I had loads of assignments. My daily schedule, including weekends, got extremely stressful. I remember handling the support issues till 2 a.m. At times on Fridays, and then going back to college at 7 a.m. On the Saturday morning. And there were instances where when my peers completed their tasks much early compared to me in some of the projects, and I was like, is this going to impact my reviews? Fortunately, I pushed myself every single day. I had the end goal in my mind. If I wouldn't try, I wouldn't know. Now that when I think about it, I see it as a learning experience. If I had not pushed myself, I wouldn't have the degree and the kind of exposure I got during the 2 years in the school, which was incredible. So every single day, I gathered courage to go back to work, come back, attend classes, complete my assignments, no matter how challenging, exhausting, or frustrating it was. So the lesson I have learned is don't be scared to fail. Learn from your experiences. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and improvement rather than considering them as obstacles. Next one, seek mentorship, build your own support network. When you face challenges, you either give up or you fight. But sometimes it's just easy to discuss the problems with people who have expertise in that area. Some people are called and some people are called role models, but some of these are also called mentors. And it is also of art to find those people who can be your mentors. I think of mentors as people who are open, they are full of ideas, they have time, they have expertise in the area that you need help with. They're authentic, they are comfortable in their own skin. And they will be able to celebrate your wins, but also sit with you during the downturn. And most importantly, what has helped me is they have helped me shorten the learning curve. And I have been very lucky to have mentors in my life who have constantly helped me grow, have provided me guidance, have identified my own strengths. When I decided, I'll just share a story. When I decided to move to a startup after working for 7.5 years at Walmart Labs, it was not an easy decision for me because it was not just switching jobs. It was also about moving to a new location. So I was moving from Arkansas to Bay Area. I had a bright future in the company, and I very well knew that. I had an offer from a tech giant as well as the startup. I wanted to join the startup because I wanted to come out of my comfort zone, get exposure to the startup world, understand the dynamics of how the smaller orgs worked, how the product area is conceptualized, and what does it take to launch it. In general, CS, marketing, product, and engineering, how they work coherently. And I had mentors who helped me provide me clarity on my own purpose because I was struggling. They helped me discover my own strengths. I had a mentor who told me if you fail, it does not matter. There are no dearth of opportunities in the Bay Area, and companies are looking for people like me. And that really boosted my confidence. And I think seeking out mentorship is to practice people, and then that's how you build your own support system. Uh, and for me, there is no one mentor that I seek advice from. Sometimes I want to learn from people by just observing them. I have learned ways of leading the teams, managing engineers and engineering managers by just observing some of my role models. And I reach out to them when there are specific situations. And now my mentors have become the source of the knowledge and learning. uh, you need support system at work as well as at home. And me and my husband share the responsibilities of our kids. And we took help from our families when we faced adversities. uh, Again, the lesson here is if you don't have a mentor or a support system, try to build one. If you haven't mentored somebody, start doing it and pay it back, because the others may need the similar kind of help that you have been getting from your mentors. Practice self compassion. This is something that I'm still working on. And I have been the biggest critic to myself. I take it hard sometimes when I fail, but I also do enjoy the small milestones in my personal and professional life, like a promotion, a big project launch, my kid's last day of school. Another thing that I have found useful is finding a hobby outside the work that you are passionate about. For me, uh, I find joy in running and dancing. I have never been an athlete in my life, but I love the small momentary win when I cross that finish line in the race. When I complete a dance performance after months of practicing, it brings just a sense of accomplishment. So when the things do not go well at work, you find accomplishments outside the work that help you cope up with the failure and not give up. And this is something I have learned like of late, and this has been really working for me. So I would just suggest just do find a hobby outside work that you are passionate about. Stay committed to your goal. You may break down when you don't see things going your way, but remind yourself, what's your goal? Your goal could be learning a new skill, it could be financial stability, it could be improving on a product metric, it could be just to get a project, get to the finish line. So look at the bigger picture. I can share a story. When I moved to the Bay Area to join a startup, there was another big life changing event waiting for me. We were having our second child. So I was making a big career move. We were moving from Midwest to the Bay Area. And now I get to know that I'm having a second kid. I was nervous. I was apprehensive, but I knew that I could change only the things that were in my control. And I just fought the situation. I decided to remain at the startup. I knew it was a demanding job. It required long hours of working, but but learning the culture was the most important thing for me. And finally, I worked there for 3.5 years till it went through an exit. I have launched several great products, learned how to organize and grow the team, and learned how to be resilient and keep executing on mission critical projects. So keep focused on what is your long term goal. Finally, this is the last one. Execute, fail, and repeat. I want you to think about moments when things were extremely wrong. You could not hide or escape. So maybe you went for a promo and you didn't get it. Your projects got delayed. Unfortunately, we don't have a culture that helps us process when we fail. We don't have a culture that teaches us how to fail. This is straight from one of the TEDx talks that really inspired me. But the thing is, when this kind of situation happens, you go through the adversities, and then you make a promise to yourself, I'm not going to get into the situation again. I'm not going to let this happen again. And then you go take a new job or a new assignment, and then again you get frustrated because you don't have the history of facing challenges. So I'm also not 100% there, but one of the things that I have been trying to do is try to fail, learn, and use that as your growth opportunity. So I remember when I started to manage managers and staff and principal ICs, I used to get easily perturbed by critical feedback. However, over time, I have learned to absorb the feedback and track the progress of feedback with either the person directly giving me a feedback or my manager. And I have started not to take the feedback or failures too hard on me. I have learned that feedback will help me become a better person and professional. So it's okay to fail, but most important thing is you should learn from your failures. That was the last one. And we are at the end of my presentation. I want to end with this few words from Walter Elliott. Perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races one after the other. So don't give up and fight back. Focus on your strengths and take it easy on yourself. Growth does not mean climbing always the vertical ladder, but it means acquiring the skills to be better at your job every day. And finally, thank you, Uma and Aparna, for bringing us all together through this platform. It was heartwarming to hear the journeys of some of the incredible women from several walks of life, and I hope to attend some of these more sessions in the future.